Fox Sports.
We are Blackboard. We are Wisconsin.
It is good to be home. Miller Park, Milwaukee, the site tonight. The Chicago Cubs are here. It starts a 4-game series. Brewers-Cubs on a beautiful night for baseball. Brewers and Cubs baseball this week sponsored by Toyota. Trade winds are blowing. Hi, everybody. Welcome from Miller Park. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder. Sophia Minard is our reporter. She's the hardest working person in show business right now. So let's talk about it. We just got the news officially. Doug Melvin just spoke to the media that Carlos Gomez has, in fact, been traded to the Houston Astros. Not the New York Mets like we thought last night. That deal was nixed. Carlos Gomez and Mike Fiersrock are headed to the contending Astros in the American League West. 4 minor league players coming back from Houston. Let's first start with the impact that Gomez will have on the Astros, in your opinion.
No, it's good to be wanted, isn't it? I mean, a lot of teams wanting Carlos Gomez. The Mets, that thing fell through, but the Houston Astros are getting an impact player and a guy that can certainly cover that center field in Houston. That's one of the biggest ballparks in baseball. The Houston Astros are in contention. They're right in there. They're in first place as we sit right now. But Carlos Gomez is kind of a so-so year this year, but I think he's going to be energized by getting back into a pennant race. And Mike Fiers has been the most consistent starter for the Brewers. Everybody talking about what the Brewers were going to do with their 6-man rotation. Well, they know now. Everybody's going to stay. Fiers goes to the Astros, and he's having a nice year.
All of this news just coming down in the last 20 minutes or so officially. There have been some rumors throughout the night. So now the Brewers are in this rebuild mode. They're hoping it's going to go quick, and they're going to be able to get back in contention maybe as early as next year. But we don't know a whole lot about the 4 players that are coming back. But I know you just had a chance to hear from Doug Melvin what he had to say.
Yeah, in the back of the press box, he was talking to the media. I had a way to slip back in there. Not that I'm a media guy, but I was there anyway. But he is excited about the 4 young guys that the Brewers are able to get. Rebuilding mode. They got some young guys. 2 pitchers. They have swing and miss stuff. They have good live arms. 2 outfielders. Make good contact. They shoot the ball around the diamond. They're young. They're 21, 22, 23 years old in Double-A. So you might not see them right away, but down the road, once you get to Double-A, you're just a phone call away from the big league.
So the Brewers bolstering up their minor league system. If you don't know about the Astros, they're in contention maybe a couple of years early. This year, they have a very good farm system, one of the best farm systems in all of minor league baseball. And they were in on Cole Hamels. They didn't get him, so the Brewers were able to get 4 players, 4-2 in this 6-player deal. Carlos Gomez, Mike Fiers headed to Houston. We're going to hear from Doug Melvin as we get started with our broadcast tonight. Once we get into the game, bottom of the first inning, Doug's going to sit in. We got a ball game tonight. The Cubs and the Brewers this evening. Jake Arrieta and Jimmy Nelson. It's all coming up. Stay right there. Wisconsin is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers. It's Miller time. Now the Brewers making a big trade today. Gomez and Fires on their way to the Houston Astros. Here is the pitching matchup tonight. It is Jimmy Nelson against Jake Arrieta. Arrieta's been one of the top right-handers in the National League. A 2.61 ERA. That is 8th best in the National League. Good matchup on the mound. It's the first of 4 against the Chicago Cubs. We'll be talking a lot of trades. The deadline is tomorrow. I'm sure there's going to be plenty more news as we get ready for first pitch. Here at Miller Park and Brewers baseball tonight on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. It's a beautiful night for the grand old game. The roof is open. It is 85 degrees. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder. Sophia Minard down there working hard. She is trying to assemble some interviews. We're hoping to hear from Carlos Gomez and Mike Fiers before the night is over. So if you guys are listening, we'd love to hear from you before you leave. The Cubs Potawatomi batting order turned in by Joe Madden. Dexter Fowler leads off, then Kyle Schwarber. Chris Coughlin bats third. Middle of the order is Anthony Rizzo, Jorge Soler, Starlin Castro. David Ross will do the catching tonight. Jake Arrieta bats eighth. And Addison Russell at second base and batting ninth. And there is Big Jim Nelson from Niceville, Florida, through the University of Alabama, and trying to keep a bit of a roll going for the Milwaukee Brewers tonight.
Yeah, he's been red hot as of late. He's won his last 2 and 5 of his last 6 decisions. Jimmy Nelson making start number 21. He's only had 3 no decisions this year. Last one came way back on May 29th.
And a baseball is loose from the Cubs bullpen, so a brief pause before we get started tonight. Dexter Fowler leads off for the Cubs. If you're just joining us and you are curious to validate the rumors of a trade, it is in fact confirmed that Carlos Gomez and Mike Fiers traded to the Astros. We're going to have plenty more on this throughout our broadcast here today. We're supposed to hear from Doug Melvin shortly. He'll join us in the booth. Brewers acquiring 4 prospects for the top 21 prospects in the Astros system, including their number 2 rated prospect, which we'll get into with the Brewers general manager. Fowler, switch hitting center fielder. Cubs are looking for some offense here recently. They are sitting Chris Bryant tonight, just getting a scheduled day off according to Joe Madden. No injuries to speak of. But the Cubs are right in the thick of things in the wild card race right now. Brewers have won 2 series against Chicago. Took 2 out of 3 at Wrigley and then won 2 out of 3 at Miller Park earlier in the season, back in early May. So this is game 7 of 19 between the Brewers and the Chicago Cubs, the I-94 rivals. As Nelson deals one, fouled away by Dexter Fowler.
Yeah, Cubs hanging in there in the Central Division. Now over 500, 53 and 47, and pretty much because of their pitching. Their starting rotation has been pretty good. Led by John Lester, who pitched a dandy yesterday. Joe Madden in his first year with the Cubs. He's been a difference maker in that dugout.
Cubs coming in 6 games over, but 10.5 back, right in the middle of the wild card situation, though. Anytime you're over 500 at this point of the season, you're in it. And right now the Pirates are plus 3.5 on the Giants. Giants actually, with their hot streak recently, having won 9 of their last 10 games, they are in that second wild card position. The Cubs and then the Mets, and yeah, swing and a miss. Fowler strikes out, and a good way with all of the noise around Jimmy Nelson for him to start his evening.
Well, let's check out your Menards Brewers defense. This is pretty much what you're going to see the rest of the way. Most of the time it's going to be Davis in left. Gerardo Parra was in left. He moved to center with the trade with Carlos Gomez. Braun in right. Perez, Segura, Jeanette, and Lind, and Jonathan Lucroy behind home plate. So Chris Davis all of a sudden is going to get a lot of playing time.
And Parra moves over to center field. Still don't know how long he'll be in a Brewers uniform. The trade deadline is tomorrow at 3 Central. That's the non-waiver trade deadline. Now the waiver trade deadline ends at the end of August, so you can always see a few trades as well in the month of August. It's very furious though over the next 24 hours, however, less than now.
Yeah, you can make trades up until tomorrow afternoon without having to put your players through waivers, which means any team can pick them up or block a trade. And up until August 31st, you can do that, but it makes it much more difficult to pull off a blockbuster deal.
That all went down today right before the Brewers took the field, about 20 minutes before airtime, before first pitch tonight. It was made official. A Schwarber, a big swing and a miss. Now the Cubs are a good example of a team that stocked up their minor league system, made a number of trades, and had some really good draft selections. Schwarber was just in the draft last year. He and Michael Conforto, the first 2 position players to make it to the big leagues, and Nelson makes quick work of him. A 96-mile-an-hour fastball and back-to-back strikeouts for Jimmy.
And that's one thing the Cubs do a lot of, striking out. No team in the National League has struck out more than the Chicago Cubs. It's one of the reasons why Joe Madden has seen a very inconsistent offense this year. Punch out a lot and they walk a lot. A strange combination.
And the Cubs coming in second to last in the league in hitting as a team, batting average, hitting just .237. Rizzo's in there tonight, but no Chris Bryant. Chris Coghlan bats third tonight and is playing third base. That is not a position he is so comfortable with. He's just played 9 games in his major league career at third base. This will be his 9th start and 10th overall game there. He's had 1 shot at third base earlier this year for the Cubs.
Just trying to find some offense, get some bats in the lineup. Then you got an outfielder, at third base. You have a catcher in left. The bat plays, they'll find a spot for you.
The 1-1 is low and away. Coghlan works the count 2-1. The mad scientist, Joe Madden, coming to the Cubs from the Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa Bay lost their general manager. Andrew Friedman went to the Dodgers. So that opened up the door for Madden to leave as well, if you choose. And there's a line drive out to end the inning. 1-2-3 inning for Jimmy Nelson. Good start for him. Brewers are coming up. Strikeouts for Jimmy Nelson, and now Gerardo Parra ready to lead it off. Here's the rest of Craig Counsell's Potawatomi batting order with Parra, Lucroy, and Braun. Lind hits cleanup. Davis is in there in the late scratch of Carlos Gomez, who was just traded to the Astros. Scooter Gennett rounding out the middle three, and then the bottom three: Gene Segura, Hernan Perez, and Jimmy Nelson. And that is the lineup that will face Jake Arrieta and his crazy stirrups.
Crazy stirrups, but he's been throwing the baseball pretty well. Tied for second in the National League with 11 wins. He's 8th in earned run average. He's 4th in strikeouts. I could go on with Arrieta. He's been outstanding so far this year. Although the Brewers did beat him early this year at Wrigley Field. Let's check out the Menards Cubs defense. Schwarber, Fowler, and Soler in the outfield. Coughlin, who's normally an outfielder, over third base. You got Sterling Castro, Addison Russell up the middle, Anthony Rizzo at first, and David Ross behind home plate. Their good catcher Miguel Montero on the disabled list.
And on the comeback trail, has a thumb injury. Hope to be back soon as Gerardo Parra digs in. Here we go to the bottom of the first. Doug Melvin making his way down to the booth here. We're going to chat with the Brewers general manager as we get going here in the bottom of the first inning. And Parra, first ball swinging, fouls it away. Well, Doug, it's been a wild few days here, and especially for you with the whole Gomez situation with the Mets last night. But what can you tell us about Gomez and fires to the Astros and maybe some of the players the Brewers are getting in return?
Yeah, it was very tough when trading Michael Fires, who's come through our system, and then the Carlos Gomez, who's brought a lot of excitement to this organization and traded for him. Whenever you trade for a player, and you're very excited, and you don't like to think you're trading him away, but it happens in today's game. But we got 4 pretty good players that they're not major league ready yet, but Domingo Santana, an outfielder at AAA, Brett Phillips, who was really was an untouchable until we talked about including Fires in the trade, Josh Hader, a left-handed pitcher, and Adrian Hauser, a right-handed pitcher. So all 4 of them are at 3 of them at AA, and Santana's in AAA, and just adding some depth to our organization of good young talent. And it was tough. I talked to Carlos, and it wasn't easy. We both got a little emotional but that happens with a player that's as popular as he was. So not easy at this time of the year, but we're happy to add 4 good quality, what we consider quality young players.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about what your last 24 hours has been. I mean, the reports were that Carlos was traded to the Mets, then he wasn't traded to the Mets. Walk us through that and tell us what you can about that.
Yeah, we felt that we had a deal done with the Mets, and Sandy Alderson and I had worked hard. Sandy was pretty persistent in calling, but over the last 3 days, it picked up on Carlos for the Wheeler and Wilmer Flores. And you know, when trades happen, they have a tendency to get leaked, though this one with Houston did not. So it was pretty good that it did not get leaked or wasn't even talked about. And the New York trade was, and it made it difficult. But in the end, you know, teams have to feel comfortable at the end. You know, at the process of going through medicals and physicals. There's boxes to check off, sometimes with contracts, and if you don't have a comfort level, you still have that ability to for the trade not to be finished, and that's what happened last night.
Parra flies out to left to start the bottom of the first inning. Spending a few minutes here with Doug Melvin. We know you have to run here. Your phone's ringing, and you're getting text messages as we speak. And trade deadline ends tomorrow, 3 p.m. Central. So just if you can give us a sense of what it's like for you and your staff right now, and how the operation works this time of year. Perhaps maybe more trades would be coming.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of people in the war room. We decided Zach Manassian, our pro scouting director, made the recommendation to bring in 5 scouts in and let them experience what we go through at the trade deadline, and having them here and talking about players. And it was a very smart move because we've gone over a lot of players, a lot of teams, and we have 5 pro scouts in, and then they went back out scouting, and we brought in another 6 pro scouts, and they're up in the room and they've been here. But it's 8 o'clock in the morning. Last night I was doing emails to the guys at 2 in the morning. Mark Antonacci's out in Hawaii, so there's a 5-hour difference. So keeping up with him at 2 in the morning, but I had a chance to wake him up at 5 this morning.
Nice.
So, but you know, the hours are long. You just have a lot of discussions. You have breakfast and lunch up there. You don't leave the room. It's a lot of fun. You do really go through a lot of organizations. You see the players, the prospects. You stay in touch with all the so-called rumors and that, but there's been a lot of transactions. I still think there's going to be some more even tomorrow. A lot of things have taken place. A lot of clubs, some big name players going, including Carlos and Mike Fiers. So you know, a lot of people would love to be in that room and hear everything that goes on.
Sure.
But there's trades that you say you do. You have some good interaction. We have some debates. I called a couple guys nuts yesterday for a proposal they made. So that happens, but it's fun.
Oh, it's fair in love and war, right?
Yeah, I guess I get a chance as the general manager to call people nuts.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
because there's many times that I've been accused of being crazy. So.
All right, this is your chance. We've taken way too much of your time already. Perhaps we'll have you back on if there is another trade. Thanks for coming over here and doing this. I know you're being pulled in many directions. So
all right.
Congratulations on the trade. I know you guys have mixed emotions about a trade like this, especially with a player like Fiers, who's come up through the system, and Gomez, of course, who developed into a superstar under your watch.
Well, I'll always remember him scoring that winning run against Arizona.
Sure.
And that, so it means a lot to us.
All right, Doug. Thanks for coming on with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Doug.
And perhaps we will see more of Doug Melvin. And you know, Brock, just watching Doug go, you know, he's getting a little emotional right there, and it does. These guys aren't robots.
It's like family.
Yeah.
I mean, the players that he's brought over, and they have you know, brought through the minor league system, and when it's time to say goodbye, it can be tough sometimes.
I think Doug feels, because we've talked about it before, but you know, the chance that the Brewers give a guy like Mike Fiers, and the chance that they gave Carlos Gomez, and they emerge into very talented players. Of course, Gomez across the board, a 2-time All-Star. I mean, a star-level player in the major leagues. So tough to trade him away, as Braun is called for a second strike on a swing, unable to check his swing.
But their work is not done. I mean, they're still grinding up there. You know, I was back there, back at the press box when Doug addressed the media. He said that you know, the Astros and the Brewers had been talking along the way. They've been talking for a couple of weeks. You know, the Met deal was looked like it was going to happen. Then as soon as that fell apart, he went right back to the Astros and very quickly put that deal together. So a lot of layers to all this stuff.
Braun draws the walk. 2-out walk issued by Arrieta, and that'll bring up Adam Lind. Well, we are very thankful that Doug would come over here and give us a few moments to talk about the trade. I mean, there's not a lot of general managers that would do that, and when you have a trade of this magnitude, and who knows, there may be more, there could be more activity, and Doug's always been great about that. So you can rest assured, if something does go down, we'll be able to get the appropriate parties on our air. And Sophia is still standing by down below. She's trying to acquire some sound from Fires and Gomez, and if she gets that, we will certainly bring that to you.
I'll be interested to see the reaction of the Met fans over this deal. I mean, the Houston Astros think Carlos Gomez is just fine, which he is. Mets say he wasn't, so I would imagine the Mets are going to have some questions to answer.
Braun takes off, and the throw to second is in time for the out. David Ross cuts down Ryan Braun, trying to steal second base to end the inning. Scoreless after one. We head to the second. By Toyota. Great to have you with us here tonight. Don't forget, be sure to catch Fox Sports Live. They're keeping track on all these trade winds blowing and trades that have happened. That's on Fox Sports 1. They'll have complete highlights as well from a busy night in Major League Baseball. Also got reports on NFL training camps as well. Fox Sports Live tonight. Fox Sports 1 streaming live on Fox Sports Go. First ball swinging, Anthony Rizzo into the gap, left center. Parra is able to cut it off. Rizzo on his way to second base with a leadoff double here in the second inning.
Well, he's something against the Brewers, isn't he? He can swing the bat. Leads the team in home runs, second to Chris Bryant in RBIs. And he's always swung the bat well against Milwaukee. And Jimmy Nelson giving him a two-seamer, and that's what makes him so good. He waits back and just hits it where it's pitched, doesn't try and pull it. Good hitter.
Rizzo is in the top 4 in the league in doubles. That's his 26th double of the year to go along with 17 homers. All-star this season. Participated in the home run derby as well. Here's Jorge Soler. And that's back to the screen. Back to Lucroy, and on his way to third goes Rizzo. A wild pitch. Not a good start to the inning for Jimmy Nelson. 2 pitches into it, a runner at third base.
Yeah, slider that nowhere close. Well, the slider's been the pitch for Jimmy Nelson in his last couple of starts. This one, I'm not sure if that was a cross-up or not, because Lucroy is setting up inside, and normally you don't do that. And when you're calling a slider, normally that's a pitch where you want to throw on the outside part of the plate. Lucroy went out and talked to Nelson. So maybe a cross-up, which is why he wasn't able to catch it.
Runner at third for Soler. And there's a strike. Cubs are coming off a win yesterday against the Colorado Rockies. John Lester got the win yesterday. Their 53rd win of the season. Cubs hit a little bit of a slide against the Phillies. There's a little tapper. Nelson will look the runner back and make the play to first. Soler is out, one away in the second inning.
Two-seam fastball beat it right into the ground and an easy out for Jimmy, who's looking for his first win against the Cubs. He's 0-3.
Here's Starlin Castro. He's had a down season this season. Just a .237 hitter. This is a guy who led the league in hits. A free swinger at the plate. Brewers bring their infield in. And that's a little flare. That'll fall foul. Cubs got no hit by Cole Hamels of the Phillies. He's now a Texas Ranger. But that was last Saturday. Phillies swept the Cubs at Wrigley. Cubs took 2 out of 3 from the Colorado Rockies as they enter this series with the Brewers.
Yeah, pitching in a bit of a funk right now. Their offense has been inconsistent all season. Hasn't been much of an offense for Joe Maddon and the Cubs, but the pitching's been very good. Bullpen not too bad. A little bit of a mismatch, middle relief, but they've had 6 different pitchers rack up saves this year. That's unusual.
Swing and a miss. Castro strikes out. 2 men are gone. Rizzo still standing at third base. Third strikeout already for Jimmy Nelson.
And those are the kind of at bats that get Cub fans, and Joe Maddon scratching their head over Castro. At one time, one of the best young hitters in the game, but chasing a bad one off the outside corner, and Lucroy able to block it and tag him for the out.
Castro didn't look like he had any interest at all in running to first. And that's important in a play like that,
right,
because there's a runner at third. You force a throw. Who knows? Bouncing ball to third base. Perez over to first to end the inning. David Ross grounds out, and Jimmy Nelson strands a runner at third.
As you see, no score in the bottom of the second inning, and be here at Miller Park for the Brewers and Cubs as the division rivals continue the 4-game series tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Saturday evening at 6 and Sunday afternoon at 1. Great seats are still available. Call 414-902-4000 or go to brewers.com.
Cubs and Brewers start the first of 4 tonight. Adam Lind ready to lead off. Lind has certainly enjoyed his time at Miller Park. Has a .335 batting average here at home. Overall average is .283. Adam's been dealing with a balky back here recently. Did come back to the lineup last couple of days in San Francisco, but he had to come out of a game in Arizona, and then he missed the first game of the Giants series. Brewers lost yesterday afternoon 5-0. Dropped 2 out of 3 to the reigning world champs. Broken bat, grounder right back to Arrieta, and there is out number 1.
Got incredible movement on that fastball to Arrieta. He's been very good on the road this year. I mean, unbelievably good on the road. He's 7-1 in 10 starts and a .214 earned run average away from Wrigley Field.
5th best road ERA in the National League, Jake Arrieta. Last 4 road starts, a 0.58 earned run average. He has given up 1 or 0 runs in each of those 4 starts. And he's 3-0 in that stretch. That's what you need if you're going to emerge as an ace. And the Cubs feel like Arrieta is an ace. Then you got to win on the road when the environment is hostile.
And probably particularly hostile when he's wearing stirrups like that.
That's true.
Those are sweet, though. I mean, those are 80s stirrups.
Those are the old the stirrup is actually sewn into the sock.
Yeah, it's part of the sock.
It's not a separate real stirrup. Just gives you the look of one. I mean, that's like what I wore in Little League.
Yeah. Just the line going straight up. Those look good when you have maybe about 6 inches, going up, or maybe even
right.
less. But up around, those are the Hunter Pence pants with the stirrup line going straight up.
Yeah, he is trying to make a statement, no question. Well, as long as you pitch well, you can make statements like that all day long, no problem.
That's a slider, too, at 91 miles an hour. He mixes it up well. Fastball, 2 kinds, 4 and 2. And see, much better on the road than at Wrigley Field. 4 and 5 at Wrigley Field, but a .307 earned run average. That's still pretty good.
Davis inserted to the lineup. Gomez was traded just before the game, and the lineup changed. Carlos was in the original lineup, and Davis draws a walk. Does open the door for Chris Davis a little bit. He's going to get a lot of playing time. He'll become the regular left fielder once again. Moving Parra to center. Now, who knows how long Parra is going to be a Brewer. If he should be traded, then the Brewers would have to dip down into their minor league system.
Yeah, a lot of interest in Gerardo Parra and Adam Lind. So we could still be talking trades when we get to the ballpark tomorrow, amongst others. St. Peterson might get some playing time if either one of them get traded.
He certainly earned a chance. Scooter Gennett takes a ball. Well, it's an exciting time right now in Major League Baseball. Brewers didn't want to be on this side of the fence as a seller as opposed to a buyer. But there are more contending teams than there are full-on sellers right now. There's been some talk. Commissioner Rob Manfred saying he is considering, debating, discussing whether to move the trade deadline back to give more teams an idea whether they'll be in it or not. And it's a tough call right now for those teams hovering around 500. I know the Tigers, they've gone ahead and declared that they're not going to make a run, or at least not with the pieces they have. They traded David Price. There's a base hit to right. Scooter Gennett singles. And the Brewers have runners at first and second, a walk and a single. Just one man out.
Yeah, Scooter trying to get that swing going. I mean, there are times when he feels as though he's going to be getting into a hot streak, and then he'll cool off a little bit. Talking about a guy that has been given a lot of playing time, and Scooter will hopefully get that bat going.
Here's Gene Segura now. 2 on, 1 man out. Segura on the first pitch, ground ball, gloved by Russell, and out at first. Just got him.
Well, he hustles down that line. I mean, almost beat it.
They might take a look at this one. Craig Counsell has come to the top step to let the umpires know he wants to give it a look.
Russell with great range had to wait for Rizzo to get there, and clearly he got the out.
And Counsell will not challenge.
And with first base open, you wonder if the Cubs are going to put Perez on. Jimmy Nelson on deck. And the Cubs have their pitcher in the number 8 spot in the batting order.
Well, we've seen the Brewers do that a few times, mostly for Carlos Gomez when he was hitting leadoff. And Joe Maddon will play the odds here and put Perez on. Be curious to see if the Cubs are going to be involved in the trading. They've got a lot of prospects. A lot of them are here in the big leagues. They're starting 4 rookies typically, which is very unusual, especially for a team that is winning and contending.
And you wonder how they're going to handle, big games down the stretch. I mean, 4 rookies. Chris Bryant, who's not in the lineup tonight, Addison Russell, Soler, and Kyle Schwarber. All rookies that are normally in the starting lineup. That's a lot.
Perez draws a walk. That'll load the bases for Jimmy Nelson. The Cubs have been in the rumors among the elite pitchers like Cueto and Cole Hamels and David Price. Cueto ended up going to the Royals. Hamels was a bit of a shocker to the Rangers. And David Price goes to the Blue Jays. So Price and Tulowitzki giving that Blue Jays club a much different look.
Yeah, talk about teams that feel they're still in it. I mean, you're talking about teams that right now are under 500. They feel like they have a shot. Yeah, the Chicago White Sox, they won 7 in a row, but they're 1 game under 500. They feel as though they have a shot to make a run.
Jimmy Nelson trying to do some damage with the bases loaded. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. Yeah, that's a tough decision for an organization to make if you're hovering around 500. But you have to kind of evaluate your division, evaluate where your team is. Are you getting healthy? One thing the White Sox have that nobody else does is Chris Sale.
Right.
That is a weapon that most cannot claim. Nelson, center field. Fowler on the run. Oh, he makes the catch. Dexter Fowler turned right, then left, and makes a beautiful over-the-shoulder catch. Wow, that would have scored 3 runs. That was a heck of a play by Fowler. We will hear from Carlos Gomez when we come back.
you guys be nice to me too. And you know, we are human, and we have a feeling. We're not a robot, so you know, everything come, and you feel emotional because it's a lot of good thing that I've been through in this organization, and me and my family feel so good and move like that. You know, you feel it. I'm not surprised. Yes, I come here and have fun in my last practice, like Milwaukee Brewers, and we have to move forwards because, you know, it's a lot of way to go. I hope I can play for another 15 years.
And emotional, Carlos Gomez speaking to the media before he exits Miller Park on his way to join the Houston Astros. And the Astros are hoping and expecting that Gomez will be in the lineup tomorrow. They need him desperately and trying to plug in a veteran star power player who's had great moments in the postseason as well. That's another thing that the Astros are certainly counting on from Gomez. The fact that he's been in the postseason with the Twins, he's been in the postseason and done well with the Brewers. Interesting, he has scored, Carlos Gomez, the winning run in 2 different postseason games. One of them sent the Twins into the League Division Series. The other one sent the Brewers into the League Championship Series.
Some great times. I mean, it's been very exciting to watch. He's kind of the heart and soul of, you know, the heartbeat of this ball club. I mean, Carlos Gomez flitting around that batting cage. He had one more opportunity to launch baseballs out of here in batting practice today. One of the most popular guys in this city right now, Carlos Gomez, as far as the Brewers are concerned.
Jake Arrieta leads off for Chicago, batting 8th for the Cubs. Jimmy Nelson gave up a leadoff double last inning to Rizzo. He ended up at third on a wild pitch with nobody out and could not score. And there's a called strike 3. Nelson's got good stuff going here today so far. 4 strikeouts already to the first 8 hitters.
And the biggest one coming to Castro, 1 out and a man at third base. On his slider, that was a fastball to get Arrieta. Well, that slider for Nelson, I mean, he has been dealing. We mentioned he's won 5 of his last 6 starts. He's won 2 in a row. He's had 17 no decisions in 20 starts. That's unusual these days.
Addison Russell hits 9th. A shortstop coming up through the Cubs system, brought to the big leagues to play second base. He's one of the 4 regulars that are rookies for the Cubs. Highly touted prospect here as well. Bouncing ball, backhanded by Segura. Long throw, strong throw in time for the out.
Off balance. And that's some kind of throwing arm for Gene Segura. Goodness. And a lot of shortstops will try and plant that back foot and fire one to first base. But check out Segura. Has his momentum going to third. Doesn't bother stopping, but still able to get enough on it and get an accurate throw over to Lynn to first. And impressive. Worth another look for sure.
Brought to you by Columbia St. Mary's.
Was I supposed to add that?
2 outs in the inning. You handled your part well.
Okay. I'm sorry.
It's a team effort, Rock. We work together. We've got a busy day today. Lots of news. Great work by our crew down in the truck. Thanks to the Brewers media relations staff as well.
Good thing we had our conference call today talking about what we wanted to do on the pregame show.
Yeah, you kind of knew that was going to fall apart at some point.
We were speculating a deal, and then in mid hit for the pregame show found out that it was official. That's some good TV.
I think the idea today was, and it almost got to that point, but Carlos Gomez was in the lineup, and we were all curious to see, after a little bit of awkwardness last night with an organization having traded a player and then the trade not going through, and then it didn't seem any different to me. I mean, I think the point that we were going to make before the trade was that Gomez looked normal tonight. His teammates looked normal around him. He was happy-go-lucky like he always is, always ready to play. And sure enough, another deal goes down.
It might have been a sense of relief for him, you know, getting off that plane, realizing he was still a Brewer. He likes it here. You heard his comments that we played. He loved his time here. The fans, the media, very good to him, and he was good to them too.
And Mike Fiers going with him. We're going to hear from Fiers as well. One of the most consistent pitchers all year for the Brewers. That is another big loss for Milwaukee. Fiers coming up through the organization. The Brewers stuck with him through a lot of offseason trouble, not by his own doing, but the passing of his mother. And the Brewers stood by him a couple of years ago and believed in him when he doesn't jump off the page at you with this overpowering repertoire of pitches. But boy, did he ever find it and have great success at the major league level when not many thought he would, and becomes a very valuable piece in a trade today. And now Fiers will get to enter in to a pennant race.
Yeah, pitch yesterday, probably due to pitch on Monday again. Had a .389 earned run average for the Brewers in 21 starts.
As Fowler draws a walk. First walk given up by Nelson. Two-out walk here.
Man, not a guy you want to walk either. You got to make that guy hit his way on. Leads the team in stolen bases with 16.
And he has now been on base in 14 consecutive games. By the way, the Brewers did make a player move. So with Fiers and Gomez off the major league roster here in Milwaukee, Logan Schaefer and Elian Herrera will both come up. They'll rejoin the team. Herrera put back on the Brewers 40-man roster, which clears him to be put on the major league roster.
The Brewers didn't need a pitcher. They had 6 starters. Solves that problem, doesn't it?
Well, if you're Fiers and Gomez, the bottom line is, as much as you like Milwaukee, bottom line is you go from last place to first place and a chance to play in the postseason. And the Astros have a very good team.
Fit in nicely in that lineup. A lot of home runs.
These are the two that are coming up from Colorado Springs. They'll be available tomorrow. Schaefer was on the roster, so that's an easy move. Herrera had to be added to the roster after he was taken off earlier this year. So you have a 40-man roster, which covers 15 minor league players, and then your 25-man big league roster, who are also on the 40-man roster, but you have to be on the 40-man, they call it, to be eligible to come up to the big league. So they had to select the contract of Elian Herrera, and I'm sure he is ecstatic about that. Gives him a chance back in the big leagues once again.
Yeah. And a switch hitter, can play anywhere. Give Craig Counsell some versatility. No doubt you're going to miss the guys that they've traded, you know, Ramirez and Gomez and Fiers, but man, that's where the Brewers are right now. Haven't been in this situation in a long time.
1-2 to Schwarber. Hits one hard, but the shift is on, and Jeanette is there. Long throw in time to get him. The defensive shift takes a hit away from Schwarber. To the bottom of the third we go. No score.
11 games. And tomorrow night at 7 o'clock as the Brew Crew battles their rivals from the Windy City. All fans at Miller Park get a free Navy Blue Brewers t-shirt courtesy of Experience Fitness. To reserve your spot, go to brewers.com/tickets.
Brewers coming up, bottom of the third inning. No score, each club with a hit. And here is Gerardo Parra starting the inning. Nelson made the last out last inning. Great catch by Dexter Fowler. That saved a bunch of runs. Surprised Fowler, Nelson did. Hard hit ball to center field, but he was able to run it down. And Parra back up the middle. That'll sneak through for a base hit. And the hitting streak is alive and well for Gerardo Parra. Gives him 14 in a row, a career best.
And the beat goes on. That was a slogan for the Milder hitting streak back in '87. That slogan coined by Dan Plesac.
Well, our lows never stop improving. Since June 29th, Jonathan Lucroy's hit for a .323 batting average. So he's got a little over a month's worth of games. And that is more Lucroy-like with the numbers. A couple of homers, 10 runs batted in. Lucroy with a man on, nobody out. Parra starting the inning with a single.
Yeah, Lucroy is fitting in nicely in that number 2 spot. Good hitter. He'll take some pitches, and Parra not a big base stealer. He will take off once in a while, but Lucroy a patient hitter and likes to use that hole between first and second.
Takes off. Lucroy fouls it away. Parra not a huge stolen base threat. He can steal a few every now and then. Mostly depends on the pitcher and how fast or slow he delivers it to the plate. But
might have been a hit and run.
Parra 7 for 10 in stolen bases.
And David Ross, he throws the ball well. We saw that in the first inning.
And Lucroy takes a ball. 2 balls and a strike. Good hit and run count here at 2-1.
A good hit and run count because you figure Arrieta's going to want to throw a strike. Doesn't want to go 3-1. Lucroy gets one to hit. He can shoot it into that hole in the right field.
Little slider in there for a strike on Lucroy. Arrieta has got just enough across the body to be very deceptive. And he throws hard anyway, has good breaking stuff, but the hitters tell you they just don't see it well. You see a lot of his back. He's not as pronounced as Taylor Youngman, but he still goes across his body and works on that extreme third base side of the rubber. Parra takes off. Lucroy sends it foul.
Throws a lot of strikes, that's for sure. 31 walks and 141 strikeouts coming in today. Walked batters in the first 2 innings. Actually 3 walks already, but one of them intentional. That's almost a 5-to-1 walk to strikeout ratio for him. Not bad.
See that skid mark with his toe almost pointing in the Cubs dugout, third base dugout. That's how far he has to come around with his body to be able to square up and make a pitch to the plate, as opposed to straight down the rubber, which you'd see in a more
most guys
traditional starting pitcher or pitcher on the mound.
Youngman's mark that he makes is another 3-4 inches toward third base.
Pitchers put that black rubberized toe on there.
Tough toe.
Their push toe. Yeah, that's what it's called. Tough toe. And it saves the shoe. And
you see the way that toe drags. That's the way pitcher is able to stay down and through. Pretty consistent on that toe drag.
You don't wear a hole in your shoe. Matter of fact, Lucroy had that put on both of his shoes after he fractured his toe. I don't think he's still wearing them. He might be. Yeah, it's on there.
Yep, it's on there.
Let's give him a little extra padding. He was trying to go through a number of different things. Maybe he was, not that you're going to go steel toe shoes, but use an insert on the inside. But that seemed to make the most sense. It does give you that little extra protection there on the toes.
A lot of guys don't want that because they feel like it slows them down, but that's not Lucroy's game anyway.
There goes Parra. And the pitch is down and out. Cannot be handled by Ross. And into second base is Gerardo Parra, stolen base number 8.
Yeah, picked the right pitch. And second time he's taken off, and Parra now in scoring position, eliminates the double play. Hey, Ross did a good job just knocking it down. Parra not looking in that time, so that was a straight steal.
Full count to Lucroy. Brewers knocking at the door here in this third inning. Runner at second, nobody out. Long at bat by Lucroy. And that one's ripped left field. That's going to go to the wall. In to score easily is Parra. Lucroy to second, an RBI double. And the Brewers strike first tonight against the Cubs.
Well, Arrieta hung a curveball, and Lucroy hammers it down the line. Back-to-back curveballs. First one in the dirt, putting Parra into scoring position. This one a hanger, and Lucroy handles it well, rips it down the line, and the Brewers get on the board first. Good swing by Lucroy. Nice level swing on a hanger.
And Ed Cedar says easy in for Gerardo Parra. 1-0 on an RBI double. Lucroy, RBI number 23. Ryan Braun. Lucroy now at second. Braun last time up drew a walk. Got into a 3-2 count. Arrieta's thrown a lot of pitches out of the gates here tonight. 47 on the board already. We're only in the third inning, and he has not recorded an out in this third inning.
One of the strong suits of this Cubs club, their starting rotation, so get to that pen early.
Players will tell you this is the night, the next couple of nights, these are the nights that really remind you that this is a business. You get to know your teammates. You spend so much time with them every day pretty much for 7 months. There goes Lucroy on the run on a pitch in the dirt, and Lucroy is safe.
Good base running. He took off right away. Took Ross a little while to get out of the crouch and grab that baseball, and Lucroy showing good speed. Hey, tough toe doesn't slow you down.
Right. It just seems like it does.
Yeah, in there safely, and now a fly ball, score another run.
A hard slide into third base. A little bit awkward slide in there. Madden alerted the home plate umpire, David Rackley, that he wanted to take a quick peek at it, and now he's saying, all right, it looked like he was in there. And now Joe Madden just trying to set the defense here. Runner at third, nobody out. Brewers lead 1-0. 2-2 the count on Braun. think about the Blue Jays and some of the trades they've made. You know, when Braun and Tulowitzki signed the deal first, that 10-year contract. Braun was shortly thereafter. And those two came up the same year, 2007. Braun won the Rookie of the Year, barely, over Tulowitzki that year. And you figure these two guys are going to be in these uniforms the rest of their career, at least close to it. But then you realize there are deals to be made. Tulowitzki was having a really good year and looked like he was finally healthy. Rockies didn't feel like they were going anywhere with him. Felt like they could get a lot in return for him. And so they sent him to Toronto. And now the Blue Jays have been able to acquire David Price. And you wonder if they'll be able to catch the Yankees and make it into the postseason. Got Josh Donaldson in the offseason. Never know. Up the middle, off the glove of Arrieta. That's going to work as a hit. And in to score is Lucroy. Infield hit and an RBI for Ryan Braun. 2-0.
Yep, they able to make contact. Ryan Braun just trying to put the bat on the baseball, thinking opposite field with a fastball. Run would have scored anyway, but because Arrieta knocked it down, it ended up being a base hit. And I think if Arrieta doesn't touch it, I think Starlin Castro makes the play on him at first base, but would have been an RBI regardless. You know, Lucroy with a good base running, getting to third, able to score on the infield hit.
Three hits to start the inning. 2 singles and a double. Adam Lind, a little late, fouls it away.
Yeah, Blue Jays giving up a bunch of prospects for those two guys, Tulowitzki and Price. They're at 500. They're 7 games behind the Yankees. Baltimore in second place. They're 6 back. And that's the thing. I mean, you're at 500, maybe a couple below these days. I mean, you might think you have a shot. You make a run at it.
Big cut by Lind. No balls, 2 strikes.
Matt has been swinging a lot of high fastballs lately. Something he doesn't normally do. Maybe that little back issue. He's starting that bat a little bit sooner than he'd like.
Well, Adam Lind is on our Powerball home run leaderboard, second on the club behind Braun. Lind has 16 home runs. It is interesting with these back problems that he's had, and throughout his career with Toronto, it was much more prevalent then than it has been this year. But he said it never bothers him to swing. It's never bothered him to swing, and hasn't bothered him this year, which is really strange because you feel like the way he swings, he does have a nice smooth swing, but every now and then he'll let one loose in a full rotation.
Yeah, it looked like it bothered him when he had to come out of the ball game in Arizona. But you're right. I mean, he said in spring training, you know, hitting is no big deal.
And Lind in the right, hit well, but right at Soler. There is out number 1. Back to first goes Braun. Lind is 0 for 2. Hit that one right on the nose. Well, it's now time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag WisDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Chris Davis now with Braun at first. 2 runs are in for Milwaukee on 3 hits. Lucroy and Braun with RBIs. Ryan has only been caught twice this year. He got caught earlier tonight. David Ross and A.J. Pierzynski are the 2 catchers that have thrown him out. 2 of the graybeards behind the plate in Major League Baseball. But still good players.
Graybeards?
Like us.
A little long in the tooth.
Davis with a big swing.
95 miles an hour with the fastball. He could throw that slider at 91. We've seen it once tonight. That's pretty hard for a breaking pitch. He'll throw a changeup once in a while, mostly to left-handers, but not too many.
A strike. Down he goes. Arrieta fooled him with a fastball, and Davis strikes out. Second out of the inning. That is the first strikeout for Arrieta.
Yeah, for a guy that's fourth in the National League in strikeouts, that one leaks right down the heart of the plate. Good movement. Two-seam fastball gets Chris Davis. A lot of weapons for Jake Arrieta. A lot of movement on everything.
Scooter Gennett takes ball one. Jake Arrieta, 8th in the league in earned run average. He is second, tied for second in wins, has 11 wins this year, 2.61 ERA, 4th in strikeouts, now 142 Ks.
And the opponent batting average of 214 coming in, good for 7th. So he's plastered all over the leaderboard amongst pitchers.
And he's been hot lately. His last 7 starts, a 5-1 record for the Cubs and a 1.37 ERA. He and Lester at the top of that rotation. It'd be an interesting decision for Joe Maddon if he did make the playoffs and was in a series. Who would be his number 1? I'm guessing Lester with the pedigree, but Arrieta is the guy who has the electric stuff.
Can't go wrong either way, really. It depends on who they're playing.
Cubs got Arrieta from the Orioles. Baltimore always liked Arrieta. Always thought he'd be a talent and be a front of the rotation type pitcher, but he had a lot of trouble with the O's. He couldn't quite get it together with Baltimore, so they gave up on him, traded him to Chicago, and that's been a nice relationship between Arrieta and Chris Bosio, the former Brewer, who's the Cubs pitching coach.
Yeah, Boz has been good for the Cubs. The only coach that made it into the Joe Maddon era for the Chicago Cubs.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Brewers have 2 runs in. A lot of deep counts. There goes Braun, and down goes Gennett. Takes a called strike 3. Back-to-back Ks, but the Brewers get 2 runs on 3 hits. Jonathan Lucroy with an RBI double. Ryan Braun followed with an RBI infield single. Brewers up 2-0 on the Cubs.
It's an opportunity for me to, prove myself. No matter what team I'm on, I'm still pitching and trying to do the best for me and also for my team. But, there's a bunch of other teams out there watching, and, Houston thinks highly of me. So, I'm happy for that.
And that's the way you have to look at it. Yeah. Our first shot to hear Mike Fiers. He and Carlos Gomez traded to the Houston Astros.
Been with the organization a long time. A lot of deep friendships here with the Brewers, and time to move on. That's the way it goes. That's the business part of this game. You never know. And there might be some players out on that field that might be saying the same thing tomorrow. You don't know.
Chris Coghlan leads off for the Cubs. Two nothing. Brewers lead, scoring twice in the bottom of the third inning. And Coghlan in the gap, left center field, long run. Davis is there to make the play. Chris Davis goes and gets one. Takes an extra base hit away from Coghlan.
That ball carried pretty well. You figured it was going to today. It's hot out here at the ballpark. Everything opened up, the roof, the glass panels, and that's when it normally carries the best. Davis able to run underneath them, but a little bit of air under it. Coghlan hit it well, but Davis able to catch up to it in the gap. Midway on that warning track.
And a pump of both fists for Jimmy Nelson. Here's Anthony Rizzo. He swung at the first pitch last time up and doubled into the gap in left center. Jimmy comes right at him, gets ahead of him.
Rizzo not only a good hitter, but good discipline at home plate. Walk a lot. Cubs as a team walk a lot. They lead the National League in walks and strikeouts as a team. That's a rare combination.
Nelson delivers a 2-1 and a swing and a foul tip right into the middle. Lucroy. 2-2 the count.
Almost the same pitch that Rizzo doubled on his first time up. That two-seam fastball trying to get away from him. Jimmy left it on the plate, but Rizzo fouled it off.
Lucroy setting up down and in. And a slider is popped up. Back is Segura on the shift. In is Parra, and he's got it for the out. Good communication there. The center fielder and the infielder. 2 outs in the inning.
Yep, everybody goes for it until one of them knows that he's going to catch it. Parra able to call everybody off, and Segura able to get out of the way.
Let's bring in Sophia now, and good work down there, Sophia, hustling up all of those interviews. Your thoughts about what you saw and heard out of Mike Fiers and Carlos Gomez?
Yeah, BA, we heard from a very emotional Carlos Gomez earlier tonight, and he said that when he was called to the office, he thought he was actually going to get an explanation for what happened yesterday. And so he said that when they told him he was indeed traded, he did a typical Gomez thing and made a joke and said, well, was this 2 or 3 hours ago, or is this the real thing? And they said, no, this is the real thing. And from then it did get emotional for him. He said he will always remember his time here in Milwaukee, nearly 7 seasons. He says, this is the organization that believed in my skills. They believed that I could be a better player, a better person here. And so he said, without a doubt, there are some unforgettable memories here. And he did get emotional expressing having to leave Milwaukee. But as these guys have said, it is a business, and you move forward, and he's looking forward to helping the Astros win.
All right, thanks, Sophia. And Carlos has always said, you know, the Brewers are the first organization that let, in his words, let me be me. And that's a big statement, because it became the kind of player that he was here in Milwaukee. That big contract that the Brewers signed him to. A lot of guys crumble under the pressure of a big contract, but Gomez actually thrived under it. I think the Brewers had a good sense of that he could settle in and know that he had his family taken care of. And the deal that he signed produced 2 all-star seasons for him right away.
I think that because of the deal is why he was able to relax. He was always playing, looking over his shoulder, wondering when his next at bat was coming. Felt as though anytime he got an opportunity to play but didn't get hits, he was going to sit. Brewers gave him the job and left him alone.
Perez will play the ground ball. 1-2-3 inning for Jimmy Nelson. Shutdown inning after the Brewers got him 2 in the third. Tonight, 2-0 Brewers lead the Cubs. A beautiful night here at Miller Park as well. Just a few miles from there. Carsoup.com trivia tonight. Which team holds the longest active streak for consecutive games without being no hit? Cubs got no hit Saturday.
It's not them.
That had been a while, though. The Cubs had not been no hit since 1965. Sandy Koufax no hit the Cubs that year. Pitching for the Dodgers, and then Cole Hamels no hit him on Saturday with the Phillies. He's now a Ranger. Jake Arrieta back to work for Chicago. 2-0 Brewers. Segura leads off.
You know the answer to that one?
No, I don't.
I don't either.
I've already forgotten the question, actually. So I'm waiting for it to come back up. We could just start guessing. Cubs had a no-hitter right here at Miller Park.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, Zambrano.
Carlos Zambrano.
And then Ted Lilly almost did it the next day
Against Houston.
That was supposed to be a home game for the Astros. Cubs fans packed this place in short notice. That was a hurricane that blew through Houston. And so they transplanted the home games from Minute Maid Park to Miller Park. That's happened on a couple of occasions. The Indians and the Angels had a series here in 07 early in the season when there was too much snow in Cleveland. We've got a roof, and we're always willing to offer it up to anybody who would like it.
We'll share for those who didn't have the foresight to get one themselves. That's about as diplomatically as I could have put that.
That was well done. Arrieta delivers a 2-2 and a swing and a miss. Segura strikes out.
Strikeouts are coming in bunches now, 3 in a row.
Arrieta gave up 2 runs on 3 hits. The first 3 batters reached on hits in the third. And then buckled down. He got Lind on a fly ball to right, and then back-to-back Ks. So now 3 in a row with Hernan Perez coming up. Cubs, one of the better pitching staffs in the big leagues. Terrific rotation. 3.49 ERA coming in. That's 5th best. Perez into right field, a base hit. Hernan singles. He's been on twice here today. Intentionally walked in the second inning. Now a single with 1 out in the 4th.
Yeah, first time in the big leagues, he's getting an opportunity to play every day. You see where the pitch is. It looked like a slider that didn't do a whole lot, right down the middle, but Perez waits back and hits it hard into right field. He's looked good at the plate. Well, with Ilian Herrera coming up, you wonder if he's going to get some opportunities over third base. Ilian can play anywhere. Outfield, infield, emergency catcher, you name it.
Nelson tries to bunt the runner over, bunts it foul.
And Logan Schaefer started with the team this year, broke spring training with the Brewers, got sent back.
Well, if you're a minor league player in the Brewers system right now, you are hopeful to get that chance. There could be some opportunities available. Guys like Schaefer and Herrera getting a second tour here. That's all you can ask for. One of the 4 players the Brewers get in return for Gomez and Fiers is Brett Phillips. And by all accounts, and those who have scouted him, who know him, raving about not just the player, but the person, saying he'll represent the Brewers very well. So I think everybody's curious to see that. According to the reports, we were talking to Doug Melvin as well, that was maybe the one piece that the Brewers were able to get. The Astros weren't willing to budge on until Fiers entered into the picture.
And one of the top prospects in that Astros system that is jam-packed with pretty good players.
Yeah, he's the second-rated prospect. Nelson bunts it foul again. That'll be a strikeout. And the K's continue. The last 4 outs have been strikeouts for Arrieta.
Hey, tonight's time of the game winner is the R&R Club in Union Grove, Wisconsin, if they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours. They get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a 2015 Brewers home game. It's offered courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Top of the order here is Parra. He bats with 2 away. And jumping on that first pitch, he fouls it away. Parra lined out in the first, and then he singled in the 3rd inning. Stole a base, scored a run. Parra's had a great month of July. That base hit he had in the 3rd extended his hitting streak to 14. That's a career high for Parra. It's also the longest active streak in the major leagues. It's been a hard hitting streak as well. He's got 22 hits in the 14 games. Perez takes off, swing and a miss. Throw to second is short hopped. Castro able to keep it in the infield. That'll be a steal of second for Perez. And the Brewers now 2 out of 3 in stolen base tries against David Ross. First steal of the year for Perez.
I'm not sure if they're running on Ross. Maybe Arrieta with that high leg kick takes him a while to get rid of it. And I think Ross trying to be a little bit too quick made a bad throw, but Starlin Castro keeps it close.
So now the Brewers with a runner in scoring position. 0-2 the count. Arrieta trying to get Parra to chase one. This is going to be a key stretch for the Cubs here. They start a road trip. 4 here in Milwaukee and then 3 on the road in Pittsburgh. And then they've got the Giants at home following this 7-game road trip. Ground ball. Gloved by Rizzo. Arrieta's there for him, and that will retire the side. 2-0 Milwaukee. We've got 4 in the books at Miller Park. Brewers Cubs headed to the 5th. Is brought to you by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. By Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. And by Hupy and Abraham. 800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. Brewers Cubs on a Thursday night. 2-0 Milwaukee. Top of the 5th inning we go. Jimmy Nelson back to work. Got a couple of birthday wishes to pass along here. Commissioner Emeritus Bud Selig celebrating a birthday today. So happy birthday to Bud. And my older brother Mike.
There you go.
He's got a birthday today. Happy birthday.
Speaking of Emeritus.
Spending his birthday in some minor league venue somewhere watching prospects play.
What is Mike Emeritus of?
He's emeritus of the Marriott Rewards points.
Yeah, they got a rough time, don't they, scouts? Wow. All over the place.
The lifeblood right now. You heard Doug Melvin when he was on the air with us mention the fact that Zach Manassian, the pro scouting director for the Brewers, gathered a number of his scouts. They're up there right now in the what they call the war room in baseball context. And they're pouring through some of these potential trades. Castro lines one to left. Davis is there. And there is out number 1.
Yeah, a lot going on. You can only imagine how many names that have been swirling around with Doug Melvin and those guys in that room. Talking about potential trades and minor league prospects.
And if you're just joining us, wow, the graphics department has already done the Photoshop work. Well done. Astros logos on those two. Looks a little strange.
There's 4 of the many minor league names that have crossed Doug Melvin's mind over the last month or so, I would imagine. Imagine, being Doug Melvin over the last 24 hours. He said it was the craziest 24 hours in his managerial career. general managerial career.
Now, you don't see many trades or non-trades go down like the one yesterday between the Brewers and the Mets. And I don't know all the details. They're not really talking a whole lot, but you can put the pieces of the reports together. It just feels like the Mets didn't like the deal or didn't feel like they were getting enough in the deal, and then used the medicals to get out of the deal. Well, that looks really bad on the Mets today, because the Astros looked at those same medicals, and they've actually gone on the record today to say we have no worries whatsoever about Gomez and his hip, which was originally a groin injury. He was on the DL.
I've been watching Gomez how many years here now? I mean, he looks like he's running the same as he has his first day here. The Mets have made mistakes on medical reports in the past. Well, that's not the deal. That's not the Brewers' problem. Actually, I think the deal that the Brewers turned with the Astros is much better than the one they would have had with the Mets.
3-1 pitch to Ross is inside, ball 4. And the Cubs catcher draws a walk. Gomez did go on the disabled list early this year in April with a hamstring injury, and then had a tweak of the groin, and that, he said the pain was more in the hip. But we've been watching him here for the last month, and he's running hard and scoring from first. He's not stealing a lot of bases because he's not leading off anymore. Once Craig Counsell took over, Brewers aren't running quite as much as they did under Ron Renicky. So,
and getting to baseballs in the outfield just like he has in the past. I mean, that first move, you're making that crossover step, or you're trying to get into the gap very quickly. Those were if you're having a problem with the leg or the groin, I mean, even the hip is going to show up there as much as it is on the bases.
The Cubs pitcher Arrieta drops a bunt down. That's a good one. Got to hurry this play. Jeanette flips to Lind, who picks it. And Arrieta is out. Excellent bunt by the Cubs pitcher.
And a nice play by Scooter Jeanette, who was on his way over to cover second base. Ball got by Jimmy Nelson, and Scooter able to make a nice throw over to first base. Change in direction, but able to make the throw off balance. That's a tough play for Lind, too.
And Jeanette's got to field it and then throw
short hop
behind him. Awkward throw with his momentum going away, and a nice pick over there by Lind. 2 gone in the inning. Ross does advance. Here is Addison Russell. Russell traded to the Cubs from the Oakland Athletics last season. In his rookie season in the big leagues. Highly touted shortstop. He's only 21. And he has a lot of tools. First rounder by the Athletics back in 2012. Cubs were able to trade some talent away last year to get Addison Russell. That was part of that Jeff Samardzija deal. They sent Jason Hamill there as well. You got Billy McKinley, Dan Straley, and Addison Russell. Russell was the premier piece to the trade.
He's still learning, and it's tough to do that at the big league level, particularly when you feel like you're in a pennant race. One of 4 rookies in that starting lineup on a normal day for the Cubs. He's made 11 errors at second base, which is quite a few. Sterling Castro leads the Cubs with 17 errors.
Two and two. You think back a year ago, or about a year ago this time, the A's were the ones who looked like they were ready to roll. They made some major deals. They had gotten Samardzija a little bit earlier than the trade deadline. Struck quite a bit earlier, as a matter of fact. That was an early July trade, and then they got John Lester.
Yeah.
And it looked like they were set up to win a division and make a run at a World Series. Fly ball to left. Davis will make the catch, and the inning is over. 2-0. Brewers lead the Cubs. They're coming up in the 5th.
You will love joining the Brewers Community Foundation for the inaugural benefit bike ride scheduled for August 8th. The ride includes 4 routes, 22 and 44-mile routes starting and ending at Miller Park, and also 88 and 100-mile routes from Madison to Miller Park. You can pedal to benefit 4 nonprofit organizations, including the Urban Ecology Center, Dream Bikes, Penfield Children's Center, and the Miracle League of Milwaukee. So you can spend a day on the bike, have a tailgate party, and ticket to that night's Brewers and Cardinals game coming up in just a few weeks.
All right, Sophia, thanks. Here we go to the bottom of the 5th. 2-0 our score. The Brewers lead the Cubs. Arrieta back to work. Jonathan Lucroy will lead off for Milwaukee. Lucroy, Braun, and Lind coming up. Nelson working on a one-hitter thus far as Lucroy on the ground to short. Castro for out number 1. Jimmy's given up 2 walks and a double. 5 shutout innings on 1 hit. Cubs have left 3. The Brewers have left 5 so far, scoring twice in the 3rd inning. It was Lucroy and Braun with RBIs in that inning. Braun had an infield hit in the 3rd. He walked his first time up.
Jimmy's been on a nice roll since he had that rough outing against the Nationals here at Miller Park back on June 13th. 7 runs in 5 innings. Other than that, after that, he's been very good.
They got Youngman pitching well. Jimmy Nelson. Peralta's back. He pitched well in his first game back from the DL earlier this week in San Francisco. Youngman's been a big surprise for the Brewers. Former first rounder, stalled a little bit in AAA, but he's been spectacular here in the big leagues. He'll get the ball tomorrow. In the air to right. That's going to stay in. Soler makes a catch. Braun is retired. And there are 2 away.
Yeah, Youngman's made 10 starts. Actually 9 starts. The Brewers are 6-3 in those 9 starts. The league's only hitting .210 off of him. Yeah, what more? I mean, what more can you expect out of him?
And this trade with the Astros the Brewers made. 4 players, 2 outfielders, 2 pitchers. And one of those pitchers, a lefty, Josh Hader, who was the Astros minor league pitcher of the year last year. Adrian Hauser, the other pitcher. Hader, the lefty, ranked 14th in the Astros system as far as their top prospects. Hauser 21st.
And Doug Melvin saying in the media event in the press box before the game, saying that both of them are swing and miss type guys. Yeah, good stuff, good live arms. It's always good. Young kids, 21, 22, 23 years old.
All headed to Double-A with the exception of Domingo Santana, who will head to Triple-A. He's got a little big league time this year. Santana is an outfielder, and he is the 7th rated Astros prospect. Remember, the Astros, one of the best minor league systems in the big leagues right now. So those are all good names to keep track of. You don't know how many will surface in the big leagues and perform at this level, but you take your chances.
It's been a lot of years the Astros were on the other end of those kind of deals, trading away their big names for prospects. Well, now it's paid off. They're in a playoff hunt and now have prospects to get themselves over the top, or at least they hope.
Lynn strikes out and a 1-2-3 inning for Arrieta. Arrieta and Nelson hooked up with a good one. Jimmy working on a one-hit shutout through 5. It's 2-0 Crew. Rivalry. The Cubs contending this year just outside of the wild card picture. Here's our carsoup.com trivia. Which team holds the longest active streak for consecutive games without being no hit? That would be the Cincinnati Reds. Now the Cubs got no hit Saturday, so the Reds now 7,031 games. Now they did get no hit in the playoffs. This is regular season only. Remember, Roy Halladay no hit the Reds in the 2010 LDS.
Trick question then, huh?
Bit of a trick question.
I didn't think of the Reds because of that.
You play all games being the same. Regular season, postseason.
No, it said longest without being no hit. Did it say regular season?
I didn't check. Maybe in the fine print down underneath it. I don't know if you were paying attention to that part.
I wasn't.
It's a disclaimer. It's always the fine print that'll get you, Rock.
Yep.
Nelson facing Fowler to start the inning. Got him in a hole quickly. Fowler made a great catch off the bat of Jimmy Nelson earlier, and this one saved 3 runs for the Cubs. That was back in the second. He is 0 for 1, a strikeout and a walk. There's strike 3. Caught him guessing. Down he goes. 94-mile-an-hour fastball right down the heart.
Well, doing a lot of guessing to the Cubs, and that one right down the middle of the plate, and Fowler takes a seat.
I think the one concern the Cubs have, a little bit of a concern in the bullpen, and they signed Rafael Soriano, but he has not pitched well yet. Who closes games? I think Madden likes the idea of pitching the hot pitcher, the matchups. Maybe a guy closes for a while, then you give him what Madden calls an emotional breather from that closer's role. But no real established closer just yet. Jason Mott is down there as well.
Well, they've had 6 different relievers rack up saves this year. Hector Rondon was 16 of them.
And he got the save last night, or yesterday afternoon, against the Rockies. But Madden's not quite committing. He wants to see who's hot and who's ready to take that role. Those last 3 outs can become very challenging. Ground ball. The shift was on. That's Jeanette. A quick throw to first gets Schwarber. And 2 men are out.
You see Segura, he was on a charge after that baseball, and held up before Scooter Jeanette was distracted.
That would have been an interesting 6-3 put out, right? Way over there on the second base side. 3 infielders on the right side, and Segura doing his Kelly Leak impression right there, trying to take everything. So 2 outs. Other thing about the Cubs that has Cubs fans a little bit concerned is the high strikeout totals for Chicago, and combined with the young hitters that they have. They've got some electrifying players. No question. I mean, they've got some star power prospects who have come to the big leagues and had early success. But now, as the league gets to know them, as the scouting reports get out there,
right,
who makes the better adjustment, the hitter or the opposing pitchers? We'll see.
Everybody talking about Chris Bryant. I mean, he's having a nice season. 91 games. He's got 14 home runs, 59 RBIs, but he's also struck out 122 times. That's a lot.
Second most in the National League. And he started the year in the minor leagues. If you've watched playoff baseball, been a part of the postseason, and you understand the flow of a postseason game, strikeouts are killers in the postseason.
Yeah.
Regular season, not so much. I mean, you don't want to strike out, but you can hit some home runs, and it doesn't show up quite as much in the regular season as it does the postseason, because those postseason strikeouts are energy boosters for the crowd, for the pitcher.
Well, because, you know, the strikeouts are important because they don't advance base runners, and you don't hit a lot of home runs in the postseason because they're in the playoffs because they have great pitching. So those guys aren't going to be giving up a lot of home runs. So it's not that quick strike most of the time. There's exceptions, but you got to make contact. You got to move runners around and take scoring opportunities when they come.
1-2. Coughlin takes a called strike 3. Jimmy Nelson locked and loaded here tonight against the Cubs. 6 strikeouts, a 1-hit shutout through 6. Toyota. What a beautiful shot of the moon. Clear skies up above. What kind of gibbous are we looking at right there, Rock?
That's a waxing gibbous because tomorrow is a blue moon. A full moon, blue moon, once in a blue moon.
That moon looks kind of blue right now.
And tomorrow is going to be the second full moon in July.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Is that news?
That is news because July is the only month that there will be 2 full moons.
For the whole calendar year?
Yes.
Well, that's exciting. We'll have to chronicle that tomorrow. Let's hope the skies are clear as well.
The other one was July 2nd.
Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope this one will be just as thrilling. For those who don't know, Rock is a bit of a moon expert.
Not a moon expert, but I like to Google up the moon phases when we see a moon like that.
Davis, a swing and a miss. 0-2 the count.
It's a beautiful moon, isn't it?
It is, and it's right there above the Miller Park sign from our booth.
Imagine there have been Americans on that moon.
That's true.
Isn't that something?
They've walked the moon.
But I digress.
That was a good thought. I had to pause for a minute to think about that. Way up there. That's where Rock's going to retire one day, right there.
My own moon.
A swing and a miss, and Davis strikes out. Ton of punch outs coming for both of these pitchers now. Jimmy has 6 for the Brewers, and that's number 6 for Arrieta.
Both of these guys really throwing the fastball, putting it right where they want it. That was right on the inside corner. 95 miles an hour. Arrieta racks up yet another strikeout.
Strike 2, Jeanette. Cubs are here for 4. Take us through Sunday. All night games with the exception of Sunday afternoon. Cubs still have not announced a starter for that afternoon game. Ground ball to Rizzo, and he flips it to Arrieta. 2 outs here in the 6th. Tomorrow it is Taylor Youngman and Jason Hamill, and then Matt Garza against Kyle Hendricks on Saturday. Garza against his old team. Loesch will pitch Sunday. And then Peralta's turn back around Monday against San Diego. And then you take Mike Fiers out of the rotation. Traded to the Astros today. Brewers have been operating in a 6-man rotation. Ground ball to short. Castro, low throw, and Rizzo saves him an error. 1-2-3 inning for Arrieta. Nice play by Rizzo. 2-0 Brewers. We go to the 7th. By Toyota, Jonathan Lucroy driving in the first run with a double. That scored Parra. He rolled it easily after a single and a stolen base, and then the next hitter was Ryan Braun, an infield hit. Arrieta had to go right off his glove. Lucroy scored 2 runs in the third, and then Jimmy Nelson just keeps it rolling. 6 shutout innings thus far, has 6 strikeouts. A key inning there, Jimmy with the shutdown inning in the 4th, stranding a runner at second base after the Brewers had gotten him a couple of runs.
Really good finish on his fastball tonight. Got some nice life. It's been basically fastball slider for Nelson. That's kind of what he's been doing his last 4 or 5 starts. We haven't seen too many curveballs from him.
He is on his game here tonight. 2 walks, 1 hit. The 1 hit was a double by Rizzo, who leads off here in the 7th. Rizzo 1 out of 2. He flew out to right his last time up. Brewers put the shift on for Rizzo as well. Same treatment that they give Kyle Schwarber. No Chris Bryant in the lineup for the Cubs here tonight. Just a day off, says Joe Madden. And a shot over the glove of Jeanette into right, a base hit.
He's a hitter, isn't he? He stays right on it, just out of the reach of Scooter, who is way back out there in the short right field. The sinking liner just out of his reach.
Rizzo among league leaders in on-base percentage this year. Came in at .353. He's been on twice here tonight, 2 out of 3. All-star first baseman of the Cubs. Here is Soler. Big powerful bat. Cubs would like to see Soler improve the on-base percentage. They figure he's going to be a guy to hit 20 to 25 homers a year. They're hoping anyway. And when those start to come with more regularity, so will the walks. Plate discipline, always a key for a guy who's going to hit in the middle of your lineup and is going to hit home runs.
Yeah, 20 walks and 92 strikeouts. So not too many walks, and he's got 268 plate appearances before tonight's game.
And down he goes. Nelson rings the bell on him.
And that fastball in has been very, very good today. And keep him, get him looking with a slider, having him being aware of a way, and then busting him inside, and he's not missing. Bingo. Right at the knees, on the corner, and he gets it rung up. David Rackley rings up Soler. 7th punch out for Jimmy Nelson.
And 3 of his last 4 outs have been via the strikeout. 1 away. Here is Castro. Takes strike 1. Nelson starts him with a slider. Reports were that the Cubs felt compelled to let Castro know that he wasn't going to be traded. Joe Madden felt he needed to have a chat with him. There goes Rizzo, and a swing and a ground ball. Segura to Jeanette, and out there, throw to first in time. Beg your pardon, they called him safe. The second base umpire, Marvin Hudson, was blocked from his view. I thought he rung him up, but that is a safe call, and out at first. So a put out goes 6-4-3, but just 1 out.
Yeah, good risk to take for Segura. They knew they were going to get the out at first. And Rizzo able to beat it. He was running on the pitch, but still able to get Castro at first base. Good try by the Brewers. They've been turning a lot of double plays lately. And clearly safe at second base.
Yeah, good call out there by Hudson. So 2 away. Rizzo at second. And here's David Ross. I've known David Ross a long time. We were in the minor leagues together.
He was a Dodger prospect coming up. I was the broadcaster there in the Dodgers organization in AA. Great guy here. He's a winner.
Yeah, he can catch.
Great with the Red Sox and had a good run with Atlanta. And synced up with John Lester on most Lester starts. Lucroy out to the mound to have a quick chat with Nelson. Got the pitcher due up next. Be curious to see if Madden makes a move. He does have Bryant on deck right now. It's not to say he would do it, but I would imagine if Ross reaches, that would be the play. Big power hitter up there with a couple of men on base. And Madden is hoping that just might be enough to tempt the Brewers to try to go after Ross here. And now it's 3-0.
Yeah, got to throw in strikes. He's the guy you want. Ross hitting under 200, only 1 home run.
That one's in there.
Yeah, 3-0, 3-1 pitches make everybody a much better hitter. And you figure Ross is going to get a fastball. He knows it. And try and get the bat head out.
Sure, Ross is a great presence, great veteran presence for all these young Cubs that have emerged this season. Always been a terrific clubhouse guy. And now Ross takes time here. Too long going through the signals for Nelson. David was always stuck behind these Dodger prospect catchers. Paul LaDuca, probably the name that most people know when he was in the Dodger system. But he survived them all and outlasted them all. Remember Greg Luzinski?
Oh yeah, the bull.
His son Ryan Luzinski was a top prospect in the Dodgers system as a catcher, and Ross was stuck behind him as well in those days. I don't think anybody would have thought that David Ross would have had this long of a big league career. Self-made big league catcher right here, David Ross. 3-2 on the way, and that one is inside. Ball 4. Just missed. Now the Cubs with 2 on and 2 out, and Joe Madden's going to play his big card right here and now.
And one of the few times that Nelson's missed that inside corner when he's tried to come in there, and just did miss, but Ross took it. And now the go-ahead run coming to home plate. Big power hitter in Chris Bryant.
And out comes Rick Kranitz, the Brewer pitching coach, former Cubs coach, and former pitching coordinator of the Cubs at one time.
Giving the scouting report on Bryant. I imagine the scouting report to Jimmy Nelson is bury that slider that you've been throwing all night. Keep it away from him. Don't let him pull it.
Bryant hasn't done this much. He's only had 1 pinch hit at bat. And he got a hit and drove in 2 runs. So this could be the moment here for Jimmy Nelson. 7th inning, 2-0 Milwaukee. And the Cubs have 2 men on base. He lays off. 2-0 the count.
And 2 sliders, both missed. Now he's got to come in.
Addison Russell due next. 2 of the prize prospects from the Cubs system in the big leagues in a pennant race. Bryant didn't arrive until April 17th. First couple of weeks he spent in the minor leagues. The 2-0, and that one catches the edge, a strike.
That slider, that one perfect right on the outside corner. That'll get in your head, a 2-0 slider. I mean, you're up there with a couple of men on. You got a 2-0 count, and the kid throws a slider on you right on the corner.
Now 3-1. Bryant homered to win it for the Cubs against the Colorado Rockies just 3 days ago. A walk-off homer at Wrigley, and that one hits the edge. Wow, bottom of the strike zone. Joe Madden's barking over there in the Cubs dugout, but Fox Tracks had that one in there as a strike.
I'm amazed Bryant took it. I mean, big power hitters up there to knock one out of the ballpark. Look, he's very happy to take a walk. Might have been low, but Fox Tracks had it right at the knees.
Everything down, mostly away. Here's a big pitch.
Slider.
2 on, 2 out, 3-2 count, and Bryant asked for it, is granted timeout. Lucroy will have a quick chat to get it straight.
Bryant hadn't swung the bat yet. Is he going to? Well, he sliders the pitch here.
Here comes a payoff. The runners go, and Bryant fouls it away. Hard slider by Nelson. 89-mile-an-hour slider in there. Chris Bryant's batting average has been on a steady decline since June 18th. At that point, he was hitting .294. He's hitting just .180 since. Madden giving him a day off from the starting lineup. He'll be back in there tomorrow. He's pinch hitting. 3-2, runners go, and a bouncer foul.
Yeah, behind the fastball, 95 miles an hour down the middle. Good battle here, power against power. Worth the price of admission right here.
Rizzo at second, Ross at first. Ross representing the tying run. Bryant asked for a timeout again. Pinch hitting for Jake Arrieta in the 7th. Arrieta goes 6 innings, 2 earned runs, gave them both up in the same inning in the 3rd. Lucroy and Nelson not on the same page here.
Fastball or slider. Can't decide what they want.
8th pitch of the at-bat. The runners take off, and Bryant swings and misses. Jimmy Nelson starting up the lawnmower on the way out. What a big strikeout for Big Jim. Bryant goes down swinging. Power sinker from Nelson. Shutout intact.
Get back pitch by pitch, nothing above the knees to Chris Bryant in his at bat. He fell behind 2-0 very quickly, and he was able to fight his way back. Good slider on the corner, and after getting behind 3-1, throws a borderline fastball right at the knees that he gets the strike call. Joe Madden not happy about that. Then the battle's on. And watch these next two fastballs, these power sinkers right here. Bryant able to foul that one off, but down and in, perfect pitch. What an impressive at-bat against a power hitter for Jimmy Nelson. Our Marshfield Clinic shining moment of the game. Wow, what a job by Big Jim.
And Bryant will stay in the game to play third base. There are the changes. Coughlin goes from third to left. Schwarber left to catch. And the new pitcher is Rafael Soriano. On the first pitch, Perez grounds out. So let's just run through that once again. Bryant stays in at third base. Coughlin now in left field. Schwarber catches Rafael Soriano, just acquired by the Cubs last week.
Anyway, fifth appearance. He's having a rough time of it out there so far. Soriano, who has had some years as a closer, most recently with the Nationals. Having a rough time settling in Chicago.
Just his sixth game. The Cubs are hoping he can emerge back into that closer's role, but has not been pitching. Decided not to sign. Was waiting for a contending team, and the Cubs made the offer. I believe it was a prorated $2 million offer for the remainder of the season. Shane Peterson pinch hitting. Nelson is done. 7 innings, no runs, and just 2 hits allowed. One of his better performances of the season. Struck out 8, none bigger than the strikeout to Chris Bryant to strand 2 Cubs.
Might be one of his best pitching performances of many very good ones as of late. I mean, that two-seam fastball tonight was nasty. I mean, down and in with something on it, and he was able to keep that slider out of the middle of the plate. I mean, every pitch to Chris Bryant and at bat, nothing above the knees. Amazing job by Jimmy Nelson.
Well, Shane Peterson claimed by the Brewers from the Cubs this offseason. Cubs had taken him off the roster, and the Brewers snatched him up. He's been a good player for Milwaukee. He's been Council's best pinch hitter, 7 for 17 coming off the bench. And a wave and a miss. Soriano strikes him out. 2 up, 2 down.
Hey, the Count Garza Gnome is coming to Miller Park this Sunday afternoon as the Brewers battle the Cubs to wrap up this series. And all fans in attendance get a Matt Garza Garden Gnome courtesy of Associated Bank. For tickets, go to Brewers.com today.
Garza will pitch against his old team on Saturday, a day before his gnome night or day or whatever we're calling it. It's not a bobblehead, really, right?
Gnome, good night.
It's the Garza gnome. Sounds better as a Garza gnome. Gerardo Parra. A lot of trade rumors swirling with Gerardo Parra. A number of teams are interested in his services, but he just carries on. Plays his game. He's got a hit tonight. Single to center in the third. Stole a base. Scored a run. He's hitting 14 straight.
Toughest trade is the first one that you're involved in. And, you know, the offseason trades are a little bit easier to deal with than the midseason trades. The Brewers picked them up in the midseason last year. Yeah, race to a new ballpark. Meet everybody. A little bit different when you're able to settle in spring training.
Parra will be a free agent at season's end. He was a trade deadline deal last year. Brewers sent a couple of minor league players to the Diamondbacks for Parra. Brewers were in contention when they made that deal. They acquired Parra and Jonathan Broxton. Broxton was good. Parra was good.
Yeah.
Everybody else kind of struggled. And the key hitters in the offense, especially in that collapse for the Brewers,
just couldn't score. Pitching was good down the stretch in September. Starting pitching very good. Not that we need to relive that again, but just couldn't hit. Just couldn't score runs.
Well, so it's put the Brewers in a spot this year where they are established early sellers and already trading Aramis Ramirez, and tonight trading Carlos Gomez and Mike Fiers. Picking up some prospects from the Astros in return. Rafael Soriano trying to get right with the Cubs. Could be a nice addition for him if he does. 3-2 pitch and a swing and a liner into right. Base hit. 2 more hits tonight for Gerardo Parra.
Yeah, got a breaking pitch that time. That was down the middle of the plate. Able to hit it hard out of the reach of Reed or Russell at second base. He stays right on it. He really doesn't pull that front shoulder out. Keeps him, gives him the ability to handle that pitch away from him, able to hook it into right field.
Here's Lucroy now. 2-out base runner. Lucroy at the plate tonight, presented by Wendy's. That RBI double plated the first run of the night. That was a 2-run third. That's been the only inning with runs. Arrieta and Nelson pitch well. Nelson was dominant. 7 shutout. Just 2 hits, 8 Ks. Counsell will turn it over to his bullpen to try to bring it home and give Jimmy Nelson another win. His last 7 starts, a 2.15 ERA for Nelson.
Yeah.
Jeffress will be next.
Just racking them up one after the other. Good starts for Jimmy.
And 5 wins in that stretch as well. He has not allowed an earned run since July 18th. So he's gone 14 consecutive scoreless innings in his last 2 starts. Runner goes. Parra. Throw to second. Skips in. Parra is on his way to third. His second steal of the night. And advances to third base on a throwing error by Schwarber.
Yeah, Schwarber dropped the arm. That ball just sailed on him. Neither he or Ross have been throwing the baseball too good today. Yeah, Ross got off a couple of bad throws, and now Schwarber, and that's going to be an E2. Stolen base E2, getting Parra to third base.
Brewers have 3 steals tonight. That's the first on Schwarber. David Ross started the game. 1-1 pitch to Lucroy is high. Cubs know they're asking a lot out of Schwarber, especially behind the plate, but he brings a big league ready bat. He was drafted last year, 4th pick out of Indiana, IU, and he's from Bloomington. So he's enjoying his time in the Midwest and right back in it with the Cubs. Lucroy in the air, left field. That'll stay playable for Coughlin, and that'll retire the side. Scoreless outing for Soriano. Here comes Jeremy Jeffress. We go to the 8th. 2-0 Brew Crew. Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. And by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. Brewers lead 2-0 as we head to the 8th. And a reminder that Fox Sports Wisconsin has been giving away great prizes during every broadcast this month. You only have 2 chances left to win, so keep watching. Prizes include Brewers merchandise, Miller Park tours, autographed merchandise, and more. Here's tonight's Watch 'em and Win 'em sweepstakes image. Log on to foxsportswisconsin.com. Click on the Watch 'em and Win 'em banner on the homepage to enter. If you're not a winner tonight, tune in again tomorrow. We'll be back at it for Game 2 tomorrow. Addison Russell set to lead off for Chicago. Jeremy Jeffress on the pitch. 9-1-2 he'll face.
And last pitched against the Giants. That was on Tuesday night. 2/3 scoreless for Jeremy, including a strikeout. He has more strikeouts than innings pitched this year. He's got 9 and then the 9th batter and then the top of the order to deal with.
Jeffress, hard thrower just like Nelson. Very similar stuff. Nelson's much bigger than Jeremy. Jimmy's 6'6". Jeffress comes in at about 6'1". He's got an electric arm as well. And when he's right, he gets strikeouts and ground ball outs. The Brewers have won 4 of 6 from the Cubs this season, winning the first 2 series. The second series here at Miller Park this year. Teams have played 6 series, 19 games this season.
And the Brewers go to Wrigley Field after this nice long homestand. The only 3 home games in almost 3 weeks for the Brewers. Going to be nice to be at home for a while.
Big chopper. Segura ranges over, can't get it. Into center field, a base hit for Addison Russell. Leadoff single against Jeremy Jeffress in a 2-0 game. That'll bring the tying run to the plate. As promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. You can tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag #WishDataStrongFan. And that'll give you a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Little tailgating out in front of Miller Park. Rachel. Good work, Rachel. Jeffress facing Dexter Fowler now. Fowler has struck out twice tonight. Nelson walked him in the 3rd. Tough guy to double up. If you're thinking about a double play ball here, he's only bounced into 3. Interesting that all 3 of those have been as a left-handed hitter.
And you would think, being a little bit closer to first base, that would be just the opposite.
He's typically got to hit one right at an infielder to double him up. Firmly at an infielder. Not a lot of wiggle room for Jeffress. 2-0 lead for Milwaukee.
Just haven't been able to throw that curveball for strikes so far in tonight's outing. Big pitch for him. Ability to throw that pitch for strikes early. Slow the bats down a little bit.
Right in on his hands. Fowler fouls it away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fowler will take his walks. Decent on base percentage now at .336, especially for a guy hitting just .243. Got a lot of speed. And he hits that one hard. Base hit, right field. Russell will stop at second. Throw comes in to second base. And the Cubs with the first two on against Jeffers here in the 8th inning.
Well, let's see what Craig Counsell decides to do. He's got a number of left-handers coming up. 3 in a row, as a matter of fact, and here he comes.
Yeah, not a good start to the inning. Brewers bullpen's been struggling a little bit here lately. Jeffers and Smith had been pretty much lights out, sharing the 7th and the 8th inning. And another outing where Jeffers gives up 2 hits, and he will exit with runners on base. Counsell will go to the bullpen. The big lefty coming in, Will Smith. We'll take a break.
A couple of men on, nobody out. And Friday, August 7th is Koozie night at Miller Park with this special ticket package. You see the Brewers take on the Cardinals and get a one-of-a-kind Bernie's Chalet canned koozie off for just $13. For tickets, go to brewers.com/special events.
Well, Craig Counsell gives the ball to his lefty, Will Smith. He struggled yesterday against the Giants, giving up 3 earned runs in a third of an inning. Gave up 3 hits while recording just 1 out. That was part of the 5-run San Francisco 7th inning. And the Giants won 5-0, but he's back on the horse. We are in the 8th. The Cubs have the first 2 on, and a lefty-lefty matchup with Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah, next 3 hitters, including Schwarber left-handed. Schwarber so far this year has struggled against lefties. Only 2 for 13. Could use a double play ball.
Well, a big swing by Schwarber in and out of the glove of Lucroy.
Lefties have actually hit Will Smith better than right-handers have.
Two on, nobody out. Tying run at first. Schwarber the go-ahead run. And he thought about it, held his swing, and takes a strike. No balls, 2 strikes on Schwarber. Just his 20th game in the big leagues here tonight. Up and down a couple of times for the Cubs. And a wave and a miss. Down he goes. Schwarber strikes out. Big K for Will Smith. First out of the inning.
Yep, only took him 3 pitches. Schwarber got a fastball, the first pitch for a strike, and then back-to-back sliders. Yeah, this one off the corner, and he chases it. And now get your double play ball.
Well, Eric Kranitz is on his way out. Madden bringing on a pinch hitter for Coughlin. Chris Denorfia will bat. for Chicago. And the animated Brewer pitching coach going through what he knows about this pinch hitter.
It's kind of interesting when you look at the splits for Will Smith. Left-handers hitting him at a 290 clip. Right-handers only 156.
And yet, so far, Council's not making decisions based on those numbers, nor are the opposing managers.
Right. And based on those numbers, you would have figured Joe Madden would stick with Coughlin in this situation.
Going deep into the numbers, not just this season. Denorfia is a very good pinch hitter for Madden. 8 for 18 this year. 2 on, 1 away. The former Padre, Chris Denorfia. Russell leadoff single to center, and then Fowler had a single to right. Good speed on the bags for the Cubs. Tying run at first, and Smith buckles the knees of Denorfia. Strike in there. As a pinch hitter this year, 3 of those 8 hits are doubles. One and 2.
He's got 8 hits, but no RBIs as a pinch hitter. So that's encouraging for Will Smith.
Denorfia, his splits. Always interesting to know what managers use to make decisions. Denorfia has been better against right-handers. Smith's been better against right-handed hitters. But this is the play right now. Instead of Coughlin, Denorfia in a pinch hit appearance, likely to stay in to play left. Here's a 1-2. Fly ball, right field. Braun is there. Russell's going to tag. Braun makes a catch. Russell stops. 2 outs now for Will Smith.
Well, 1 out away, but he's got a tough customer coming up. Rizzo has been very good against lefties this year.
Yeah, he's hitting .319 against left-handed pitching this season. Rizzo is 2 for 6 career against Will Smith.
Yeah, he's got 2 home runs against lefties this year.
Well, it was Jimmy Nelson against Chris Bryant last inning with 2 on. This inning it's Will Smith against Anthony Rizzo. Wave and a miss. He had made up his mind, and Smith picked the right pitch.
There's the numbers we're talking about. Pretty good against lefties. Normally he stays right in there, but pulled his head that time.
Russell and Fowler on the bags. The 0-1 way outside. Lucroy, nice block. Those are big plays. They don't show up on the box score, but the ability to block a pitch like that. Lucroy so quick. Keeps runners at first and second instead of 2 in scoring position.
Yeah, where base hit ties it up.
Rizzo standing right on top of the plate. Look at that back foot.
Yep, right on the line.
Back line and inside line. Daring Smith to throw one in there, and a swing and a drive. Rizzo, a 3-run home run, just like that. The Cubs take the lead.
Tried to come inside on him and missed his spot. That was set up. Well, he Showed you how good he's been against lefties. Now 3 home runs against left-handed pitching. Missed his spot completely, and Rizzo knocks it out of here. Boy, he is something against Milwaukee.
And another disappointing outing by the Brewers. Late inning relief. They're in a bad funk right now. Rizzo rips one out here into the second deck. The Cubs now lead 3-2 as we play with 2 outs in the 8th. Smith is out. Another pitching change for Counsell. Of the inning. 2 of those runs belong to Jeffress, and Rizzo on Smith's line. Blazek will try to get through this 8th. 2 men are out, nobody on.
And Monday, last time that Michael Blazek has been in a game against the Giants, tossed a scoreless inning. Gave up a hit and a strikeout. Great numbers for Blazek, almost as many strikeouts as innings pitched. And a 181 earned run average with no home runs allowed so far this year.
Jorge Soler at the plate.
Yeah, the one guy that has done all the damage tonight is Anthony Rizzo, and he's the one that is able to drive one out of the ballpark. 5 hits for the Cubs, 3 off the bat of Anthony Rizzo.
Rizzo with a single, a double, and a 3-run homer. His 18th of the season, gives him 56 RBIs now. Two balls, no strikes on Soler. Into right, slicing. Braun will watch that one into the seats.
Yeah, this lineup for the Cubs has done zip except for Rizzo tonight.
That spoils a great night by Jimmy Nelson.
Yeah.
He was in line for a win, the 7 shutout innings. Takes Arrieta off the hook for the Cubs. Right now, Rafael Soriano in line for the victory.
Happened to no decision for Jimmy Nelson. Only his 4th of the season. Well, he deserved better, did Jimmy tonight.
The Brewers bullpen has been a strength all year until recently. And they've had their troubles. They've had a hard time getting to K-Rod for a save situation recently. There's a called strike 3. Soler is out and the inning is over. But Anthony Rizzo does big damage. 3-run home run gives the Cubs the lead now.
Sports Wisconsin, presented by Toyota. I'm Craig Kashan, getting you set for Brewers Live postgame. The Cubs have just grabbed a 3-2 lead over the Brewers here as we go to bat now for Milwaukee in the bottom of the 8th inning. A lot of what we're going to be talking about on Brewers Live postgame, though, is what happened just before this game. Our AT&T Uverse Rewind, and that's Carlos Gomez and Mike Fiers been traded from Milwaukee to the Houston Astros for 4 very well-respected prospects at this point. Houston, one of the best minor league systems in all of baseball right now. We'll tell you who those 4 minor leaguers are and where they rank in the midseason Baseball America prospects report as well. Suddenly the Brewers farm system is going to look very, very strong here. Again, Brewers Live postgame coming up after the ball game. Brian.
All right, Craig, thanks. With Jerry Augustine, and those guys will have all the sound, all the reactions from Gomez and Fiers. Kind enough to do a few interviews on their way out. Pedro Strop for the Cubs, bottom of the 8th. Ryan Braun leads off. And now the Brewers trying to play comeback here. They're down a run after the Rizzo 3-run homer. Braun to be followed by Lind, and then Chris Davis. Saw the new left fielder DeNorfia. He stays in. Soriano pits the 7th inning. Scoreless. He's in line for the win now.
Yeah.
And Strop will get the setup spot, and then who closes the game if it gets to that point will be interesting. As Braun strikes out, Strop bringing the heat upstairs.
Hey, saw his numbers. Pretty good season he's putting together. He's got closer type stuff. Last pitch on the 27th against the Rockies. He's scoreless inning. Got a big fastball and got a slider to go with it.
Here's Adam Lind. First ball swinging, fly ball to left. DeNorfia for out number 2. Chris Davis with 2 away and nobody on. He's trying to get that home run back intact. The Brewers have hit 91 as a team this year. They haven't homered since Arizona. Did not homer in San Francisco. We got Braun at the top. Adam Lind second on the club. They could use a home run tonight. How about 2? 2 outs. And Davis, defensive swing. Reds beat the Pirates tonight 15-5. Brandon Phillips drove in 7 runs tonight. So that's good news for the Cubs. They are chasing the Pirates. There's a ground ball in the hole. Castro lays out, throw to first is in time. Wow. That was impressive. Starlin Castro, he's been in the crosshairs defensively all year. This makes up for a lot of that. Special play by the Cubs shortstop to end the inning. One of the best. Johnson is presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. 3-2. The Cubs have the lead. One swing of Anthony Rizzo's bat. 3-run home run in the 8th. Cubs lead by a run. We play in the 9th now. And Starlin Castro, who just made that spectacular play to win the inning, leads off. Not going to see one better than this from a shortstop tonight.
Man, how about the throwing arm? I mean, a lot of shortstops get to this baseball, but look at this, from his knees all the way in the air, right on the money to get the 3rd out of the inning. Something else. 17 errors at shortstop this year, but he can make plays like that.
The Cubs were hoping he was going to be a star, a superstar. Was an all-star, just hadn't really panned out that way as he breaks his bat, but singles to right. A base hit. Leadoff single for the Cubs. 3rd consecutive inning they've had their lead batter reach base. 4th time tonight. There's Jonathan Herrera pinch hitting for the pitcher, which is now in the 7th spot in the batting order. He began in the 8th spot in the order.
Yeah, Herrera then Chris Bryant. So you got some muscle in the bottom of the order right now.
And then Addison Russell after that. Runner goes, and a foul ball. Herrera on the hit and run. Well, we've been talking about the Astros a lot tonight with Gomez and Fires headed that way. Houston is in a scoreless tie with the Angels in the bottom of the 9th inning. Scott Kazmir, one of the most recent pickups via trade for Houston. He's from Houston. Went 7 2/3 scoreless. That's a tight one there. Astros Angels. Astros won last night, and as a matter of fact, won the last 2 games, and they took over the top spot in the American League West over the Angels. They're tied in the loss column, and Houston has 2 more wins than the Angels.
Yeah, Houston not going anywhere. They won 7 out of 10.
Skips out of the glove of Lucroy, and to second base goes Castro. Brewers had a terrific start. First 7 innings were beautifully played by the Brewers, and it's turned a little bit in the last 2.
Yes, it has.
Bullpen is in a bit of a slump right now as a unit, which is never a good thing.
They're having a difficult time getting to Frankie Rodriguez. I mean, once he gets in there, it's pretty much lights out. That's the way it's been. Getting to him has been an issue.
Shows bunt. Herrera gets it down. Barehanded Perez can't get it in the hand. That'll be a bunt single. 1st and 3rd for the Cubs now. Nobody out. And Bryant coming up.
Yeah, that play from Perez coming in with the bare hand has been a problem for him. Pretty good glove man, good accurate arm, but plays like this have given him a problem. Just not able to keep the ball in his glove or his hand to make a throw.
Well, now Bryant up there with 2 on. He was up there with 2 men on in the 7th. Nelson struck him out to end the inning. That was a pinch hit appearance. Into right center. Braun is over. And coming in is Castro. He will score. Sac fly. 3, make it 4-2 Cubs. And the bunt pays off. Addison Russell with one away. Herrera at first base. So Rizzo and Bryant driving in the runs tonight. 3-run homer Rizzo, Bryant sac fly. Rizzo with 3 hits of the 7 the Cubs have posted tonight. The future of the franchise.
Yeah.
Rizzo and Bryant.
Having a good time with Eric Hinsky right there, Cubs coach. Wisconsin native.
The assistant hitting coach to John Malley. Had a nice long career. Eric Hinsky.
Yeah. Power hitter.
Good pinch hitter.
But he's a Cub now.
So we will strike him from the record. Chris Bosio still lives in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
He's been struck as well. Hinsky's from Menasha.
Dale Swain was actually struck for a while.
He was.
That's hard to do for me.
Former teammate. He was struck.
There's Boz.
He's struck. He'll resurface at some point. On the record, I mean, for us. Little half swing pop up. Jeanette's going to let it fall, and he'll take the out at second base. So basically, you exchange Russell for Herrera. 2 outs in the inning now. So we'll do it again tomorrow. Taylor Youngman, his first matchup against the Cubs. Jason Hamill on the mound for Chicago. Miller Lite, what's on tap?
Yeah, Jason Hamill's had some good games against the Brew Crew. Taylor Youngman's had some good games against everybody since being called up.
Cubs traded Hamill last year. He was in that deal that with Samardzija that allowed him to get Russell, among others, and then he became a free agent and he re-signed with the Cubs. Got a 2-year deal with the Chicago Cubs. Oakland with virtually nothing to show for that trade. Not only did they lose that wild card game to Kansas City with Lester on the mound and a big lead late in that game, all those pieces are now gone. They traded Samardzija, or lost Samardzija, I should say, to the White Sox, and then Hamill left. Lester signed a free agent deal with the Cubs as well. And they lost their best prospect in Addison Russell.
All right.
That's why general managers
got to be careful.
Yeah, got to be real careful. You got to feel like your team has a little bit of that championship medal. A's had it going 2 years ago. Thought it was going to be that natural progression, but then out from the ashes come the Kansas City Royals. And now it's the Royals that look like the best team in baseball. It's the best team, in my opinion, that we've seen this year, Kansas City, and they're even better now with the addition of Johnny Cueto and Ben Zobrist.
Yep.
Cueto's going to go tomorrow for Kansas City.
Kansas City's got a 9-game lead in the Central. 9 games over the Twins.
One ball, 2 strikes to Fowler. 2 outs in the inning. Boston snapped the White Sox winning streak. The Southsiders had won 7 in a row. Boston beat them tonight 8-2. Chris Sale lost.
How many strikeouts for Sale?
Fair question.
Always seems to have 10 or more.
7.
Huh.
He gave up 12 hits in 5 innings. 7 earned runs against Boston tonight. That is unexpected.
Yeah.
St. Louis Cardinals won in a walk-off tonight. A walk-off walk. And it was John Axford again who suffered the loss.
Colorado had a 2-run lead going into the ninth.
Axford gave up the home run, the walk-off to Chris Bryant earlier this week, and now walks a batter with the bases loaded, and the Cardinals win it 9-8. Broken bat, little flare, that'll fall, a base hit. And the Brewers are having a hard time getting to the end of this one. Dexter Fowler with his second hit, first and third with 2 away.
Good battle by Dexter Fowler. Kept off fouling off pitches, and then finally got a breaking pitch down the middle of the plate, right off the end of the bat, and then he continues for the Cubs.
The last 11 Cubs batters have produced 6 hits. 6 for 11. All 4 runs.
And Jimmy Nelson only allowed 2 hits in 7 innings. Both coming to Rizzo.
Nelson faced 26 batters tonight.
Were you counting?
I was. They said there'd be no math tonight, and I had a tough time reading my own handwriting. Schwarber with runners at the corners. This guy strikes a very menacing presence at the plate. As they say, he just looks hitterish.
Yeah, he kind of reminds you of Eric Hinske, doesn't he? Maybe Hinske a little taller. Schwarber thick, strong.
Takes a rip. He just blew right through the Cubs minor league system. Last year he started in the Northwest League, which is rookie ball, low A ball. Advanced to high A ball, and then eventually starting this season in Double A and then to Triple A, but only 147 minor league games across basically a year, half of last season, half of this season. Rips one to left. Base hit and an RBI. Cubs lead 5-2. Schwarber with an RBI single. His first hit of the night. He doesn't look like a number 2 hitter, but that's where Madden had him, and he delivers here in the ninth.
Good looking swing right there on a pitch going away from a 2-seamer from Michael Blazek. He went right with it, hit it hard into left field. Watch where he makes contact. Back off that back leg, and nice easy swing, gets on top of it, drives in a run.
Runners at first and second for DeNorfia. Left field, Davis is there, and that will retire the side. But the Cubs score 2 more. They have scored 5 in the last 2 innings. It is a save situation. Hector Rondon coming on. The Brewers had it going their way until that guy delivered a 3-run home run in the 8th to give the Cubs the lead. Jimmy Nelson and the Brewers were rolling. Jimmy went 7 shutout innings, just 2 hits. However, the bullpen has surrendered 5 earned runs in just 2 innings of work. Jeffress, Smith, and Blazek. And the Cubs scored 3 in the 8th on that swing by Rizzo, adding 2 more in the 9th. So that'll set up a save opportunity for Hector Rondon.
Yeah, picked up number 13 in yesterday's game against the Rockies. It was the first save opportunity since June 20th. We mentioned that there had been 6 different relievers for the Cubs with saves this year. Rondon with 13 of 16.
Has not blown a save since May 22nd, but he hasn't been in that closer's role, as you mentioned, Rock. It's been interesting the way Madden has rotated him out, trying to keep Rondon fresh for the stretch run, perhaps. First ball swinging, Giannetti flies out. 1 away. Well, this is shaping up to be a tough day for the present here in Milwaukee, losing fan favorite Carlos Gomez. Their most consistent starting pitcher, Mike Fiers, both traded to the Astros. And the Cubs with a comeback at this point, 5-2. They lead it. But there will be better days.
Yes, there will. Tomorrow, perhaps. Of course, this one's not over.
Still have 2 outs to work with.
You never know.
Ow, Segura fouled that one off his helmet. Hit the ground, then came up and hit him in the head. That Astros Angels game is over. Jason Castro hit a 3-run walk-off home run for Houston. Boy, they are rolling now, and they've got the Energizer Bunny on his way. As Segura rolls out, 2 outs in the inning. So the day started with this news just before we hit the air today. About 20 minutes before we hit the air, Carlos Gomez and Mike Fiers traded to the Houston Astros. The Brewers received the number 2 Astros prospect, Brett Phillips. Domingo Santana, who's got a little big league time this year. Josh Hader, the Astros minor league pitcher of the year last year. And Adrian Hauser. So Phillips, Hader, and Hauser will be headed to AA. Santana to AAA. Hopefully they'll be in the big leagues soon.
Well, once you get to AA, you never know. You're 1 phone call away. It's the way it's been going these days. A lot of young kids coming up.
Plenty of discussion on the trade. There certainly is an opportunity for more trades tonight as well. The deadline is tomorrow. This is going to win the game. And the Cubs with a comeback win tonight. Joe Madden and the Cubs improve to 54-47. And they'll pick up a game on the Pirates, who they are behind in the Central Division and in the wild card standings.